Hi, Dharma Circle. Happy Wednesday. Swati here, the Embodied Dharma Coach. Let's dive in and talk about contract workers and how to use your Jyotish chart to help you understand your lineage patterns, issues, traumas, grief, and also your gifts and the innate wisdom from your lineage as well. Jyotish can be an incredible tool to help us deepen our understanding and our healing process with our ancestors and our lineage. And if you want to strengthen your Jyotish knowledge and wisdom in an embodied way and use this tool, this ancient tool for healing and transformation, stick around. I am going to share a special opportunity with you today to do some self-study and to keep strengthening your gifts and wisdom through Vedic astrology. So, are you a contract worker? How do you know? How can you tell? And first of all, what is a contract worker? Some of you may be asking, what is a contract worker? Why does it matter? Well, for those of you who are on a healing path of any kind and you are committed to your Dharma, so living a path and a life of wholeness and nourishment for your soul and your body, and sharing your gifts and wisdom in this world, that is a dharmic path. And I just want to remind you that Dharma comes from our ancestors. So if you are unclear or uncertain about what your gifts and wisdom are, what your dharmic path is, it's likely a disconnection with your lineage and your ancestors, the ancestral body, as well as your ancestral support team. And so what happens when we reconnect with our lineage, our ancestors, and our ancestral support team, when we do the grief work and we clear the channels of undigested grief, when we do our healing work, our trauma work, our shadow work, we clean up the channels that connect us to our lineage and our ancestors on a spiritual level. And that allows us to receive their support, their guidance, and their assistance, which we need for our dharmic path. Again, there is no Dharma without the ancestors. And so just consider that if you are unclear or uncertain about your path and your purpose, it's likely a disconnection with the ancestors. And for most of my clients, I would say even all of my clients, we are contract workers. I'm a contract worker. The majority of my clients are contract workers as well, which means the ancestors hired you to bring Dharma back to the lineage, to restore Dharma to the lineage. What happens is too many generations of adharma, that which goes against Dharma, takes a toll on the lineage. Dharma is natural. Dharma is normal. Dharma is the way that is harmony and balance. And so when we have generation after generation of adharma, that which goes against the Dharma of the lineage, then a contract worker is hired by the ancestors to restore Dharma to the lineage. This is a very special role. It is it takes a lot of courage, and those of us who are contract workers, we must not fail. This is not an option. It's not an option whether or not you'll live a path of Dharma or a life of soul purpose. There is no other option for you. And this is where the struggle comes in for many contract workers because they feel as though they're in this attraction repulsion dynamic. I want this Dharma and I want to live my purpose, but I'm unclear or I'm uncertain, or how do I make money, or nobody is supporting this. My family doesn't understand. And typically, when you are a contract worker, your family doesn't understand. And the reason for that is that if generation after generation has been going left, the contract worker must go right in order to restore balance. So you will often go in the opposite direction or against the norm in the family so that more balance can be established in the ancestral body. You'll know that you're a contract worker because your gifts and wisdom look very different than the rest of your family. And again, this is because the ancestors hired someone with specific gifts and wisdom that have been lost or forgotten in the lineage. They want to reawaken, re-enliven those gifts and wisdom in the ancestral body, in the lineage. And so it takes a very special contract worker to do that. Here are some ways to tell if you are a contract worker. You feel like the black sheep of your family, you feel different, alone, isolated from your family members. Your lineage has experienced extreme traumas and grief, but they've been ignored, they haven't been honored, validated, or healed. The majority of your family has not fulfilled a life of joy, passion, or purpose. They aren't living dharma or meaning, literally the purpose of their soul. There's been significant losses, debts, pain, struggle in your lineage. Contract workers see what others do not, right? If nobody has been seeing or tending to the adharma, the contract worker is going to see very clearly where there is disconnection, where there is adharma in the lineage. So you see what others do not. It's one of the reasons why most contract workers are very good healers and guides, because we have been trained to see what is not working and what is not balanced or in harmony. You have to break the lineage patterns in order to fulfill your dharmic purpose. And so this can cause pain and struggle and grief. You don't have the same desires as your lineage or your family members. That's a good thing. Spiritual growth and development, as well as healing, are your top priority. That's what you've committed to. Again, different than the lineage. You've done significant grief work and healing work, even though your family doesn't see this as necessary or important. You've felt immense grief in your life and you're not sure why. These are signs that you are a contract worker. And over the years, over the last decade, I have recognized that every client who shows up to work with me is a contract worker, needing support, needing clarity, needing understanding. Why am I here? What is my path and purpose? And what is the thing that is in the way of me fulfilling my dharmic purpose and more prosperity in my life? And it's always an ancestral piece that needs to be tended to, always. And again, that's because there is no dharma without the ancestors. So typically, when we're lost and we're unclear or we're struggling, we're not having success, the prosperity isn't arriving, it's because there's a disconnection with the ancestors. And I will tell you that on a material level of existence, you can only get so far without the ancestral support. You have to have their support to really make the type of progress and have the type of success that you're really wanting. And what I mean by that is deep soul contentment, fulfillment on a deep soul level, knowing without a shadow of a doubt that you're living your soul purpose, that you're sharing your soul gifts and wisdom in this world, and that you feel in balance and harmony with your offerings, your gifts, your wisdom. You will need the ancestors in order to accomplish and achieve this level of success. There is no other way, which means we have to be very clear and diligent in asking for their support and knowing how to do that. Your Jyotish chart is an incredible resource when used properly and used in an embodied way. This tool can support you in clarifying what are the blockages, what is this karmic issue that has been passed through the lineage that is hindering my progress and my success. And at the same time, identifying what are the lineage gifts, what are this innate wisdom in the lineage that I am here to reawaken. Your Jyotish chart can tell you that. And when we use it properly for healing and transformation, when we use it in an embodied way, we can deepen our understanding and strengthen the healing and transformation process that comes and can only come through ancestral work. And I'm a contract worker. I have strong markers of being a contract worker in my chart. And so I have had to learn the hard way that Dharma is a non-negotiable for me, that I am here to restore Dharma in my lineage. And as a result, I attract contract workers who need that same support and guidance. When you are aligned with your ancestral contract, life just gets smoother. Your purpose gets clear. Your offerings become easier. Making money, having worldly success, it just comes naturally because you have your whole team of support backing you and supporting you. Remember, your ancestors want this for the lineage. It's not just about you. It's not just about your success and achieving worldly success on your path. It is about your ancestral success and restoring the prosperity, success, nourishment, joy, pleasure in the lineage and rebalancing the lineage. So if you want to use your Jyotish chart for understanding your ancestral karma and your lineage trauma, you will need a few reminders, and we want to orient towards the chart as though we're looking at the ancestral body. So when we use the Jyotish chart in an embodied way, remember we're looking at the chart. It's a map of your body. It's also a map of your ancestral body. We're looking for markers in the Jyotish chart to understand your role as a contract worker. And so understanding that the nature of your karmas and how they impact your body, your life purpose, your dharmic path, this can alleviate confusion, struggle, doubt on the path. At the same time, we can understand what are the innate gifts, what's the innate wisdom of the lineage, and what am I here to transform and re-enliven and reawaken for my lineage? Yes, your Jyotish chart can tell you that. So first of all, we always want to pay attention to Rahu and Ketu. These are, of course, the shadow nodes. They're also the karmas that you came into this body and this life to overcome, to transform, and to awaken through. Rahu and Ketu are going to show you very specifically where the trauma lives in your body and your ancestral body. As a contract worker, you are here to work with this specific karma for you and your lineage. And so we want to pay attention to Rahu and Ketu occupying the 5th, 9th, or 12th houses. This is an indication that there's significant karma with the ancestors. Saturn in the 5th, 9th, or 12th houses can indicate significant undigested grief in the ancestral body. Really important to understand how undigested grief causes pain and suffering and amnesia, literally, with the gifts and the wisdom of the lineage. And this is why people say to me, I don't have any connection to those people in my family. They were horrible people. I don't want anything to do with them. Or I don't want to honor my ancestors. They weren't great people and I have no connection with them. Well, that is a strong indication that you have undigested grief in your body and your ancestral body. When we don't do the grief work, we lose the connection and the thread with these ancestors. And unfortunately, it's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater, because if you throw away the connection and sever the connection with your lineage, you also lose the gifts and the wisdom that comes with them. No one is all good or all bad. Nothing is all good or all bad. Even the most horrific individual has some shred of light and intelligence. And this is not to say we're working with unwell ancestors. I want to be really clear about that. We're only working with the well ancestors, those who are able and capable of providing guidance and wisdom and support. But even those ancestors who were very challenged and led very painful lives and existence have some gift to offer. And your job as the contract worker is to knit together and integrate and reconnect the gifts and the grief so that there's more wholeness. Rahu and Ketu are going to show where there's literally trauma, disconnection, and as a result, an inability to reconnect with these parts of the lineage. There's so much trauma, there's so much pain in this area of the body, this ancestral body, that we're missing the connection, the threads, the wisdom from the lineage in this area. And so the trauma work, the grief work, the shadow work must be done in order to restore the harmony and the wholeness in the ancestral body and in the lineage. So challenges with sun and moon can also indicate that the mother or the father's lineage has passed unhealed trauma and grief through the lineage. The 8th house is also going to be really important for understanding past lives, past karmas, what the soul has come to the planet with from previous incarnations. And some of that is your individual soul karma. But the majority of the karma that you're here working through is, in fact, ancestral. From a Vedic perspective, 25% of your karma comes from your mother and her lineage. We're impacted 7 generations back. We also impact 7 generations forward. The sun is going to tell you father and father's lineage, and we are impacted by 25% of our karma, which comes from the father and his lineage. Then we have 25% of our karma coming from the 9-month gestation period, and 25% of our karma, which comes from our soul's previous incarnations. So 75% of our karma, our embodied karma, comes from the lineage and what is happening in the lineage, what epigenetically has been passed generation to generation to generation. You are an embodied expression of all of that. And so it becomes really important to understand, what am I turning on? What am I turning off in the lineage? Your free will, your consciousness development, your healing and transformation work determines that. What am I turning on? What am I turning off? You have immense free will. And it's through that you, as the contract worker, supports the healing of the lineage. The 5th house is going to show you the nature of your intuition, intelligence, and power, which, by the way, is handed down from generation to generation. When we see challenges in the solar plexus, the 5th house, the upper gut, we know that there's a lineage issue, that is disconnected from intuition, that inner guidance, that is problematic. And certainly from a dharmic perspective, because Dharma is entirely rooted in self-trust and this ability to stay connected to one's own inner knowing and inner truth. If you have challenges in your fifth house, then that ability to stay connected at one pointed focus to your self-trust is going to be challenging. And of course, that's a lineage issue that has likely caused adharma. The next place I like to go, and actually this is the first place I go in a Jyotish chart. When I look at a Jyotish chart, the first thing I'm looking at is, what was the birth process like? That birth process is karmic. That birth process, that way that you entered the world and the gestation period with your mother, and what was going on in her body and around her and in her relationship with your father, all of that shapes how the soul arrives and what impacts the soul upon arrival. So I look at the nature of the birth and the dasha cycles that were occurring, dasha cycle that was occurring at the time of birth, to have an understanding of that immediate karma that you came in with. So the nature of the birth process, what occurred after birth, the dasha cycle that the soul arrived in, these layers are powerful indicators of the soul purpose and the contract with the ancestors. Typically, what I see with contract workers is they come in with very challenging circumstances. We're looking at the first house to understand the nature of the birth. We're looking at the second house to understand what happened after birth. And then we're looking at the dasha cycle that you came in with to really establish what was happening psycho-emotionally for this individual upon arrival. Typically, there are extreme circumstances for contract workers that catapult you into this healing journey. The nature of struggle and challenge and grief and trauma, it can be a catalyst for awakening. A contract worker is in a hyper-vigilant duty or job or dharma of healing and transformation. And every step of the way, you have likely been shaped by this knowing and this desire, and it's a soul desire. It does get easier and it does become more clear. It does become gentler, but having the ancestral support and guidance is what supports this clarity, this ease, this gentleness. Knowing that you are a contract worker, in my experience, alleviates so much suffering. The questions around why is this happening and why am I here and why this family and why these struggles become so clear when we understand the nature of our role as a contract worker. And again, I have seen it time and time again. It's been my own experience that this can alleviate incredible suffering for the contract worker once you understand your role and the nature of your work with the ancestors. Also, just having their guidance and support can be so powerful and so healing. So using your Jyotish chart to support and strengthen this understanding is phenomenal. And it can help the healing and transformation process move forward more swiftly, more easily, and just give you the clarity that you are likely missing on your path, especially if you are a contract worker and you are here for Dharma and one thing only, living a life of dharmic purpose and living the gifts and the wisdom of your lineage, enlivening these ancient gifts and wisdom from your lineage. If you want to do this level of Jyotish self-study, If you want to use your Jyotish chart in a way that supports and enlivens this ancestral knowledge, this embodied knowing within you, and support your healing and transformation, comment Jyotish below. This week, I am offering my Jyotish self-study course at a special price, discounted with extra bonuses. I'm even throwing in a private Jyotish session with me so we can go through this together and I can give you these insights and this wisdom based on what I see in your chart and just help you move forward with more clarity and ease. If you're ready to do some embodied Jyotish self-study, then comment Jyotish below. You'll receive my entire Jyotish archive, which is literally years of Jyotish classes that I have taught. You'll also get one live Jyotish class with me every month and with my team. It's either me or my team who are teaching these classes. You'll get a Jyotish chart and dashas. You must have an accurate birth time in order for this. And you will have a private session with me. I'm also including an immense amount of bonuses to support you in your studies and to keep you on track. You get access to all of my Dharma Foundation's resources as well to help you clarify your dharmic path and increase your dharmic business prosperity. So many resources to use, and keep studying your chart, growing in your dharmic knowledge and wisdom from an embodied Jyotish perspective as well as an embodied dharmic business perspective. And also that ongoing support monthly in live class. And this week only, I'm offering a private Jyotish session with me to strengthen your knowledge and wisdom and your healing and transformation process. If you'd like the details about my Jyotish self-study process, comment Jyotish below. We have a live class this Friday. I'd love to see you join us and jump in before we meet in class on Friday. Our Friday class will be centered around using the Jyotish chart for awakening your ancestral knowledge and wisdom. So do jump in today, tomorrow, so that you can join us on Friday for a live class. Comment Jyotish below. I'll send you all of the details so you can get started with your embodied Jyotish self-study process and keep growing in this knowledge and wisdom along the way. We've just had a major transit shift. We had Rahu and Ketu move to Pisces and Virgo on Monday. This is a major transit. You're likely feeling it already. It's a perfect time to be doing this level of healing and transformation. As I said in my class the other day, Ketu in Virgo will not tolerate mess. And Rahu is pulling us into spiritual study and awakening. What a more perfect tool than Jyotish to awaken and enliven your healing and transformation process. I'd love to see you in class and in session. Comment Jyotish below. We'll follow up with you. We'll send you all the details. I want to see you in class on Friday, and we got to get you your chart and registration details before then. So hurry up, step in, jump in, and we'll see you in class on Friday for some ancestral guidance and support with your Jyotish chart. And remember, you have lifetime access to all these resources. So you can just keep studying at your own pace in a way that works for you and have that monthly reminder and support along the way to get guidance and ask questions. So I'll see you in class, and many blessings to you and your ancestors at this sacred time of year. Bye, everyone.